So about 6 months ago, Sam, 6, 7 months ago, we had some IRS whistleblowers come forward and testified openly to Congress and behind closed doors, but certainly there was open hearings as well. And they knew the laptop, then they were investigating because of the tax fraud, the the tax allegations against Hunter Biden. This is why they had a nexus to this investigation. And they testified saying that the FBI knew it was real then and they had tons of information. They actually said in public that they had information that not only implicated Hunter Biden in multiple felonies, but also his father. Now, this is what they said. And still, we've had this pushback. Can you speak to any of that from what you've seen on the laptop about what things actually implicate not only Hunter Biden, but his father, the current president of the United States, in illegal, in my opinion, probably treasonous behavior?
Yeah, well, all kinds of communications, many of which have been discussed. But look, the essence of what is on that laptop, in my view, is not the hookers and the cocaine, and it's not even tax violations and all other stuff. I mean, if you let's not ignore the elephant in the room. If you will. The laptop is filled with communications from foreigners. Let's just hone in on the Chinese Communist Party, from guys who are known entities, who are all tied directly to the hierarchy of the Chinese Communist Party, and many of them directly to Chinese intelligence, Chinese spies, directly in contact with Hunter and sending money to Hunter. And all we're talking, I think the best estimate we've seen is a minimum of $31 million coming from China. It's China. To a guy, Hunter, who, as Giuliani has said, is clearly the bag man, right? You got an entity, CEFC China Energy, okay, at one of the principal elements. CEFC China Energy is not an energy company. It's not a commercial company. It doesn't produce a product. It doesn't do anything. It's a Chinese intelligence front company, and that's no. It exists for one purpose. It exists to buy foreign officials and influential people in other countries, what the Chinese call elite capture. That's its business. Again, this is known, established, right? Federal government has said this. We've prosecuted and put people in prison from CEFC China Energy. Okay, they exist for one purpose. They're funneling tens of millions of dollars to a guy who is the bag man and at this point, the vice president's son. Now, as I think I told you when we were talking offline the other day, right? The FBI knew all this, not just because they had the laptop, but because they were actually investigating one of the key guys in CEFC China Energy, who went by the name Patrick Ho in the United States. So in other words, the FBI was well aware of what CEFC China Energy was, aware enough that they were conducting a very high-level counterintelligence investigation. They were focused on CEFC China Energy's number one guy in the States, Patrick Ho. They were on his phones. They had him under physical surveillance at various points. They're reading his emails, they're reading his texts, they're listening to his voice message. Because they're investigating him for contact with a whole bunch of people. In fact, we prosecuted him and put him in prison for bribing and buying foreign officials on U.S. soil. So in that context, the FBI discovers that Ho is also in contact with Hunter Biden and doing the exact same thing with Hunter that he's doing with these foreign officials, funneling money. A known Chinese intel guy whose whole mission is to buy foreign officials, who they ultimately prosecute and put in prison for doing that. They discover he is in contact with Hunter and obviously handing him millions and millions of dollars, and Hunter has no discernible skills other than using coke and hanging out with hookers. So that money is not staying in Hunter's pocket. You would think every red light in the bureau would go off and they would say, okay, wait a second, guys. Yeah, Patrick Ho is buying the president of Uganda, which, by the way, they did in fact put him in prison for. But that's beside the point, because it sure looks like he's buying and or has bought the vice president of the United States. And they know all this not just from the laptop, but because, again, they are on Patrick Ho's phones. You know the drill, right? They've got warrants. If he communicates in any fashion, they see it, both ends of it, what he's sending and what he's receiving. They got the whole shooting match. They suddenly discover what could be the biggest counterintelligence threat in the history of the United States of America. You would think they would be bringing special agents on special assignment from every field office across the United States to work this case. And that as Joe decides to run for president and the possibility of a real Manchurian candidate looms, that would become even more a screaming priority.